taking the online race broadcast performance to the next level. This is the Full Velocity Network.
And a very pleasant good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Full Velocity Network, live at the HOBO Racing League, the Whelen Modified Series at the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. An awesome night here. Great open-wheeled action, and thrilled to have you here live, flag to flag here tonight, with all the bells and whistles here as the ultimate esport experience visits HOBO once again this evening. Good evening out there in YouTube land. My name is Phil LaCasse, along with Todd Stanton and Joe Allen on the call this evening. And man, Todd, home sweet home for myself. Open wheel modified racing at the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. It is going to be one fantabulous night, guys. We've got 20 plus drivers in the pit area. Race number 20 of the season, Joe Allen, and we are going to be in for one special, spectacular night here.
Yeah, I like your wording, Phil. A fantabulous night. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're here at the Thompson Motor Speedway. I know it's close to home for you. And we got the Whelen Modifieds out there. This is going to be awesome. These guys, arguably some of the best short track racers out there in the sim. I love coming over here and watching these guys put on a show for us. It's going to be a ton of fun. You know, the HOBO Racing 125 laps around here. I took a legitimate guess on pit window. I could be completely off. I didn't have the chance to talk to these guys about a pit window, so that's probably way off, but it's all right. They're still going to put on one heck of a show. I'm super excited. Couple technical difficulties out there getting the show going. We had a incorrect streaming bitrate set, so we had to reset the event link. I do apologize for that. Todd should be going around posting the new link on all of our advertisement blasts we did earlier, as well as the Full Velocity Facebook page. So to all you guys just now tuning into the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We apologize, but we're on air. We're ready to go. We're at Thompson, short track racing on a Thursday night. It's going to be a fun one, Phil.
No, absolutely right. We'll get to Todd here in a shortly. We had some broadcast link issues, as you guys can see. We got new link up on the airwaves. Had a little bit of issue there on Joe's end, so we're out rolling here tonight. I believe going to be 120 laps is going to be the distance. We were advertised at 125, but I believe 120 is what they're showing me on the screen as the advertised distance tonight. So we'll make that adjustment here on our end as well. But it's going to be an awesome night, guys. You know, the Thompson Motor Speedway, you know, a place very near and dear to me. I call Thompson, Connecticut home myself, and my home racetrack, and the Whelen Modified Series. I mean, what more better can you get here than this? So as we get ready here, we're going to put this thing under green flag just here shortly. But first, real quick, guys, I mean, 5 days ago, the racing world was rocked, especially up in the Northeast, especially the Connecticut region. We lost an icon to the racing community. That would be TC Teddy Christopher, gone at the age of 59. And anybody that knew TC, you know, he was one of the hardest charging racers out there, and, you know, one of the greatest of all time. So in a memory of Teddy Christopher here tonight, we race on, and we're going to pause here for a brief moment of silence before we get this thing underway. So we'll bow our heads now. Thank you very much for that, folks, as we honor Teddy Christopher here tonight. But we're going to go trackside tonight for the playing of tonight's national anthem. Welcome back to the Thompson Motorsports Park. Let's go trackside for tonight's command.
Let's get it started. Drivers, start your engines!
And with that, we bring 23 of the best Whelen Modified Series drivers to life here to take the green flag. 120 laps around the 5/8 Thompson Speedway. On the pole, we find the number 41 of Josh Boyer, and to his outside, and the number 13, we welcome back to Harry Codian.
Next row back is Roger Neville-Stick and Daryl Brown. That's row 2.
Rich Knappick rolls off from 5th tonight in the number 6, and Austin the Plant in the 48 rolls off 6th.
Everett Lentz starts next row back with his dance partner to the outside, the number 2.
The Rabinos will roll off in the 5th row tonight. Dan Rabino in the 44 and Steve Rabino in the 21.
Next row back, good old push rod on your screen, and Johnson in the 06.
Dion Hinsky, Aaron Maynard, Larry D, Jacob Simpson, Wild Bill, Manny Diaz, the dog, John Palmer, Cal Lovall, Jeff Fugate, Rob Keller, and Jeff Stakanis, our point leader. That's going to round out your field here tonight. 120 laps around the famous 5/8 mile Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park, the first paved asphalt track in the country. Todd Stanton, what do you say? 120 laps. Let's go green flag racing.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go green flag racing. I know this is an event you've circled on your calendar. This is an event that's been circled on my calendar. Short track racing at its finest here from the Thompson Speedway. Getting ready to go green flag racing for the ground pounding, earth shaking, mighty modifieds here. Open wheel style green flag is in the air. These guys are racing down into turn number 1.
Down into turn number 1, Josh Boyer will take your early lead for the first time. Harry Codian going to slip into that second spot. Daryl Brown, the 86, he'll slide into third. All these guys, a lot of give and take there as they hit turn number 1. But right away, Todd, for the first time through 1 and 2, caution flag's going to be on the speedway.
Yeah, yellow flag out there on the speedway. Not sure who was involved in the first yellow flag here of the evening at Thompson. I'm going to have to go back through and look. I'm sure Joey the Jet, Joe Allen down there in the broadcast trailer was not quite ready for that yet, but he's going to be on the stick, and I'm sure he'll have that one and a replay ready for you.
Oh, absolutely. Joe, the best in the business when it comes to replays and finding what happened here to put us under caution flag for the first time tonight. You know, hats off to Joe Allen. I mean, it's only 6 o'clock on the West Coast, though. Just literally got out of work here not too long ago, so he got home, got up on the air, and apologize for you guys that may have been around for our first little casualty here, trying to get the broadcast up and running. But I think everything all back to the ready, and I think you guys are going to be in for a fantastic show here tonight. But right off the opening lap, Joe, as they hit turn number 1, caution flag for the first time tonight. So with the full velocity rewind, show us what happened.
Yes, sir, guys. Just a little bit of havoc down there in turn 1. We'll throw this thing in slow motion replay. We're going to focus our attention on the blue and white number 17 machine, actually, as they go down into turn 1. He barrels that Whelen Modified right down there into turn 1. Just gets some contact from the rear end. That spins the 14 out as well of DJ Hinsky. Spins that number 17 up into the outside wall and stacks up the back end of the field. But it looks like those two guys are the only guys that are involved in the wreck. Everybody seems to be able to get their Whelen Modified slow down just enough to avoid any other severe contact between anybody else on the racetrack. So they'll get themselves restacked, repacked. Get lined up at the rear of the field. We'll get this thing back under green shortly. Back up to you guys in the booth.
And we'll throw a little plagiarism, tone on there, Todd. Restacked and repacked. Joe's trying to borrow some of our lingo down there. Maybe one of these days we'll get the beauty and the genius of what is Joe Allen, and maybe you and I can maybe pull ourselves together.
Well, he's he can use whatever he wants to use down there. It's rubbing off on him. That's a great thing to hear, that some of our sayings are starting to rub off on Mr. Joey the Jet, Joe Allen down there in the broadcast trailer. Wish some of his racing skills would rub off on us, though, because he don't share them. He's pretty greedy.
He definitely knows sluts for a race car driver himself. But we look out here on the speedway, 23 of the absolute best open wheel modified drivers. Call HOBO Racing here every Thursday night. What an awesome series here, and guy who's grown and bred in the short tracks and in the Whelen Modifieds. I mean, I can't think of a better way to spend a Thursday night out here, especially on home turf for me, the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. But coming into tonight's race, Jeff Stakanis is your point leader off the back of 19 starts. He has 2 wins, 12 top 5, 17 top 10 finishes. It has powered him to a 215-point lead over Dion Hinsky, who's got 1 win on the season. Rich Napick, 3rd in the point standings. He is 276 behind our leader. The pushrod, Bob Becker, currently 4th in the standings. Bob has 1 win on the season. And Dan Rubino, he comes in tonight 5th in the standings, 483 points back. You know, these guys using the old school type of point system, it appears, for the modified series. So that 215-point margin, it may seem big, but, you know, with that old school point system there, Todd, point steals like that, they can change instantly here within 1 race to 2. You can see that, you know, whole 215-point margin disappear.
Yeah, definitely. Those margins can shake up and rather disappear rather quickly as we're waiting for these lights are extinguished at top of the pace car here as it pulls down the victory lane pit road. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Green flag is in the air once again. Boyer leads the charge down into turn number 1 once again. Can these guys make it through turn 1 without an incident? There's a lot of Whelen modifieds out there. 23 modifieds, 7 laps in here of 120 laps there, Phil. I think they made it through turn number 1. They're down the back straightaway.
Yeah, that single file restart may have helped these guys just regather up. They've had a lot of laps on the setup tonight. This racetrack certainly fast with lap times that were sub 22 seconds all night. These guys are going to be just lightning around this beautiful 5/8 mile here. Josh Boyer going to come off turn number 4. He has the race lead there next time around. As they head back toward turn 3, he has a mirrorful of Harry Cody and the 13, Todd. That's an awesome looking paint scheme. Harry trying to find running room to the low side through into turn 1.
Yeah, awesome looking paint scheme out there, Phil. Harry Codian in that 2nd spot. First right now is Boyer Nebelstick running in that 3rd spot. In that number 52, Darrell Brown is running 4th. Austin LePant is up to 5th, and yellow flag going to fly on the speedway once again. Not sure what happened out there. Maybe Joe seen the yellow flag before we did there that time, Phil. I was not paying any attention and did not see those yellow flags.
No, and Joe was just on the spot right there. I mean, I was looking at racing action, you know, into turn number 3, and Joe was just calling out my other ear, guys, cautions on the speedway, and looks like stuff happening amiss off the trouble spot of Thompson. Normally off of turn number 4, saw smoke. 1 car may have even been down in the grass area, and, you know, we'll have to see what happened there, but it looks like issues going around unofficially called the 188 of Larry D. I think I saw go around. Turn number 3, you know, Thompson's one of these places you drive it deep into these corners, almost got to let it wash up a little bit and play with that throttle. And looks like the case right here, Joe Allen, Larry D may have wrestled on that line between control and out of control, and looks like he had a tail happy and may have went around.
Yes, sir, guys. That's a pretty accurate description of what happened. You're making my life a lot easier. I could actually might as well take a sip of a beer and sit back and just let you commentate it. We're going to focus on the 188 of Larry D on screen here. Just gets himself around through turns 3 and 4, just as you said, all by his lonesome on the bottom there. A little bit of trouble, spins himself out, unfortunately, and that'll put us back under caution. You know, for as long as these guys are staying under green here for the laps that they have. Ooh, near miss there for, I believe, the 31 of Justicanus. That could have turned very, very deadly there towards the end of that. So nice job by him to pull a late maneuver to the right to avoid harder contact with the 188 machine. That could have been pretty bad, but these guys will get themselves turned back around. We'll get everybody lined back up and see if we can't get this thing back under green here shortly. Back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, Joe, and these guys at Hobo Racing do an outstanding job. You know, we saw them a couple weeks ago at Richmond. You know, we short track racing. These guys do a lot of that, and especially with this Thursday night Whelen Modified Series. If I have to go the list of mods in short tracks that are my absolute favorite, Todd, I mean, I got to call the Whelen Modified my absolute favorite. Anytime I see any modifieds on the schedule, it gets my blood to pump a little bit more. I mean, I've had my success winning races in these cars over the years. I mean, how much of a background, you know, I'm a guy in the Northeast. I know you're in the New York area. You've got the dirt scene out that way, but I get the pavement over here up in Northeast Connecticut. I mean, do you have any recollection of the pavement modifieds out in that Western New York area?
Well, there used to be a track called Shangri-La. I used to go down there and watch them when I was a real young kid down there at the Shangri-La Speedway, and Jimmy Spencer was down there, and all the Bodines, Jeff Bodine, Brett Bodine, um, and Todd Bodine. There was actually an Eric Bodine down there too. So all the Bodines are down there, down to Shangri-La. I used to watch those, and then of course you got Oswego up the road just a little bit. I guess there's Chemung Speedrome now down here in New York. But I really have not gone to a lot of these races, Phil. So I'm always intrigued by these classes and stuff. But it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of these around my area that actually race on a consistent basis.
Yeah, and it took me till probably about my late teens before I realized there was a such thing as a dirt modified, because these Whelen modifieds were just the thing to be back in the day. As we're ready to go back green flag racing, believe green flag is out in the air. I was back, looking at things toward pit road, and I missed the green flag coming, Todd. So they restart. They're off in the back stretch, for the first time on the restart. Josh Boyer, the 41 there. Harry Cody into the inside. Got a little bit of an advantage that time. 2 or 3 car lengths this time off of turn 4. Race for third as we see the 86 of Darrell Brown to the inside.
Yeah, Darrell Brown peeking down to the inside of the 52 machine. That's Roger Nebelstick. Here comes the 48 of Austin LaPlante. Last time I watched a Whelen modified race here with at HOBO Racing, Austin LaPlante was pretty fast in that 48 machine. But here comes Nebelstick also in that number 6 machine, or the 52 machine, excuse me, the 6 machine right behind him is also crawling his way into the picture here. The number 6 machine, pretty fast out there. That's a slick looking machine. I've always been a fan. I know Joe likes the 6, but I've been a fan of that 6 machine because if I venture back in my dirt modified career, and watching them all the time, it reminds me of a Danny Johnson Freightliner ride.
No, I was thinking the same thing looking at that scheme and the way the number is designed. Danny Johnson was the first name that come to mind. The 6, of course, Rich Napick comes in tonight in the top 5 in the point standings. Connecticut bred, Connecticut born, and racing in the great state of Connecticut, running so far early on with 17 laps on the board, currently P6. But all chasing Josh Boyer, Todd. He's got 0.7 of a second on your screen. That may amount to about 8 to 10 car lengths. 41 had the pole, and he's starting to drive away through these opening laps.
Yeah, he's definitely driving away from Harry Cody and that number 13 machine out there at the Speedway. Darrell Brown just moved his way into that 3rd spot. And then number 86 machine, Austin LaPlante, is running in that 4th spot. 5th right now is Roger Nebelstick, but on their heavy fire from Napick. And that number 6 machine, then right behind them is the number 87 machine of Lynn, says it. Everett is actually making his way up through the field here too. He started quite a ways back, but up in that 7th spot. So these guys were the typical players that we seen the last time out, Phil, in this Whelen Modified Tour event here that we have on.
I think we lost Todd there. May have had some issues there with the talk button. We'll let Todd get himself gathered up. But yeah, Everett Lentz, one of those guys, anytime you come to HOBO, going to be a heavy hitter. And he was really excited to talk to him a little while ago. Said, Phil, I hope you guys on Full Velocity get to see this awesome looking paint here tonight. And he's got the 87 pointed in that right direction coming forward. Currently up to that 7th spot, but the best race on the racetrack looks to be around for that 6th position. Roger Nebelstick there, that's 5th rather. Nebelstick, the 52, is there. Rich Napick, the number 6, he keeps peeking to the inside lane. Can't quite find that running him around, but looking all over this racetrack, Todd, that best battle, it obviously looks to be around for that 5th spot.
Yeah, definitely around the 5th spot as I finally got my button back on my board here. It was an interesting play there. In the middle of conversation, my button falls off. So now I'm back here watching all these guys go around and having some good battles. Right now they're pretty much staying single file there, Phil. Looks like they're right tight down to the bottom. But what type of wear is on these type of cars there, Phil? I know they got the big drag rubber on these cars compared to maybe a NASCAR car or Busch North, or your typical closed fender cars, your full fender frenzy ordeal. These guys got huge rubber on their cars.
Oh, they certainly do, and it really allows these guys to really offset them with some tire stagger. And as far as tire wear goes, I mean, it's very typical of what you can see. I think you'll see here at a place like a Thompson, especially as we talk about the NASCAR 2003 sim that we're playing here, I believe these guys could probably go about 65 to 70 laps, which, is basically the goodie in real life of what you see for new tires. Some guys could make the whole 120 lap distance, but I believe with this 2X tire wear, we're going to see at least one pit stop from these guys before night's end. But tire wear usually at Thompson, you don't have to be too conservative with them, but if you charge these things off like you do any kind of race car, Todd, if you run your tires off them, they can get awfully ill handling. And starting to see some of that here a few laps ago. I saw somebody washing out of the groove. I believe that might have been, I think it was the 21 of Steve Rubino washed up out of the groove there. So guys are racing hard, hot and heavy there, but looking back up near around for that 6th spot, likes of Austin LaPlante running in that 5th spot. Roger Nebelsick has come to the low side. Move Roger now up to that 4th spot, starting to charge forward.
Yeah, Nebelsick is on the move in that number 52 machine. Also the number 6 of Napick down on the bottom side. He's trying to work his way around the number 48 of Austin LaPlante. Oh, somebody down in the grass. I believe that was the 88 machine there, or 99 machine, excuse me, doing a little dirt tracking there with that's the Simpson machine of the number 99. That was interesting. I seen dust flying up in the air, and the dirt track. And these modifieds are not definitely made for the dirt there, Phil.
No, they're certainly not. And you can offset, these race cars at Thompson. You get back hard on that throttle. You push it to the left, kicking up a little bit of dust off of that apron. Something that's all, not too uncommon here, especially the way, you can really come through with a high rate of speed through these corners on the 5/8. But great racing all over this place. Great battle there between Nebelsick and Austin LaPlante. Rich Napick right there. Also Rich Fenkel, that number 2, he's charged up to that 7th spot, having a good run. Jacob Simpson's there also. He's 8th. And Aaron Maynard, the number 46, have not talked about him, but he's starting to pick his way forward a little bit. He's to the inside of it looks like the 99 of Simpson. That's great racing. 3-4 cars deep there, Todd, through into turn 1. Now Rich Napick a little bit off the pace. He got a little bit loose as well.
And Napick indeed off the pace in number 52 machine a little bit, the number 6 machine, getting those guys mixed up there as they've been dicing it back and forth. And what a great race going on around 7th, 6th, 5th. Those guys putting on one whale of a show here, with especially the 48 of Austin LaPlante. So from 4th on back, Phil, they've been slicing and dicing. You don't know who's going to be in front of one another here coming out of the corners. It looks like the number 48 drifts up the track just a little bit. The 52 of Nebelsick drifts up the track just a little bit too. Fall on suit with the 48. Maybe tires starting to go away just a little bit on these machines. But I've been watching up front as the 41 of Boyer was actually out to a pretty decently sized lead. But last time by, Boyer ran a 21.164. This time by, he's going to run a 21.094. And then I'm looking at the number 13 machine. He ran a 21.150. So he's catching them real slow. He's starting to reel them in there, Phil. And then number 13 machine, Harry Codian.
Yeah, Harry Codian, he said, looks to be very much faster than our current race leader, Josh Boyer, which is no surprise at all. Anybody that knows Harry, he's a short track guy himself, does really great on the super speedways as well. And he's a guy, if I see his name on a list, of course, anytime you come to Hobo, you see that 13 clock to the pit area, he's going to be a contender before this night is out. And, he certainly has. He closed what was about a 15-car length advantage to about 7 or 8, and maybe even down toward a handful as a hit turn number 1, trying to chase down our race leader, Josh Boyer. But going to have lap traffic up ahead there, Todd. The 93 of Wild Bill, he looks to be the first car there that may fall to the clutches the race lead. The 93 is going to roll off the hill, and our old friend Wild Bill out there still kicking. Currently 21st. He's going to now be 1 lap down to our race leaders.
Yeah, he did 1 lap down, but he's up out of the groove, staying away from the leaders, not and hampering their performance that much. It's Wild Bill, a classy type of guy there. He just lets the leaders go by, and no fight out of the 93 this time. He's just a little bit on the high side, just staying up out of the way. But Harry Codian still maintains a little bit faster laps each and every lap on that number 41 of Boyer. Boyer tried to run away and hide. They do have lap traffic in front of them. Look at where the number 6 machine is, Phil. He's the next car to go 1 lap down, and that's Napick in that number 6. So his troubles seem to keep magnifying now. Now he's fighting to stay on the lead lap as he was inside the top 5 just moments ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure what quite happened there to the number 6 car. Not sure if he lost tire or what was going on there, but that car got bad loose, washed up the racetrack down to the apron. And as you said, Rich Napick, who was up in our top 5 here not too long ago, he's about to go one lap down to the rear of the field. Josh Boyer about to make the way around. Harry Codienne now has got that down to precious car lengths, call that 3 or 4/4 of a second last time around. And I'm also really impressed by the run of our third place runner, Todd. Darrell Brown, 3.5 seconds behind our current race leader, but he's driven away from that great race that we've had for 4th place on back. And also, who has asserted himself in that pack is also the 99 of Jacob Simpson. He's able to make his way past the likes of Neville, Sick, and LaPlante. And now Jacob Simpson finds himself a contender. He's up to that 4th spot, and he is starting to run that 3rd place Darrell Brown down at a pretty good clip here through these last 5 laps.
And an interesting fact on Darrell Brown. He's from Pennsylvania. Oh, he goes sideways. The black cloud strikes Darrell Brown as he got down and clipped that apron. It looked like something might have went amiss there with the lap car. Yellow flag's going to fly, but I was just going to say, as you were talking about him, now there's 2 different things that happened to Mr. Darrell Brown. He ran his fastest lap of the race as you were talking about him. The very next lap, he's around, Phil. So, yeah, I guess you have the best of both worlds. It just, you don't want to go around, and that's unfortunate what happened to Darrell Brown.
Well, I'm not going to steal the thunder from Joe Allen this time. We'll let him get busy there with a full velocity rewind and show us what happened here to put us on a caution flag. I'm not sure it's going to be, Darrell Brown was fast, ran his fastest lap of the race, as Todd said. But the question is now, was there a disagreement with a lap car, or did he just have that car really, really loose there, knowing that car was getting faster and just lost it on his own? Let's let Joe Allen tell that story. Joe, show us what happened to the 86 of Darrell Brown, spinning his way out of that 3rd spot.
Yes, sir, guys. The black cloud strikes again. The full velocity black cloud. We thought we got rid of it. Focusing on the 86 of Darrell Brown. The 93 of Wild Bill on his outside. Wild Bill tries to look like he tries to get out of the groove. I don't know if he just was aware that Darrell Brown was there or not, or maybe Darrell just caught him a lot quicker than Bill was expecting, and maybe even Darrell was expecting. But as you see on the frame here, Darrell just, in an effort to avoid hitting Wild Bill, I think just spun himself down to the inside of the track to try and avoid a bigger incident. And, he'll turn that thing back around, and he'll have to go down pit road and put some tires on it and get back out there. But just tough break. And Phil, I'm sure you can touch on this more, being a guy that's gone out to Thompson a whole bunch in your career as an announcer. Lap traffic is always an issue here, and the guys that have been successful at Thompson are the guys that, are obviously fast, but they're also really good at navigating their way through lap traffic. So this is one of those instances. Back to you guys.
Yeah, it certainly is. And it's one of those things where the spotters need to communicate. The lap cars got to know they're off the pace. The leaders are coming. You can hear, you can see that car, approaching behind you. I mean, I put that to the fault of the spotter of a 93 there. I mean, I think, Todd, the rule of thumb is I don't care if you're pavement racing on a short track or whatever you're doing. You need to communicate, as drivers, as spotters, I think that's one of those wrecks that may have been avoidable. And if you're Darrell Brown, the 86, you're probably a little bit peeved at that one.
You might be. As you're sitting there talking about that, Phil, you said spotters. The Whelen modified. These guys have spotters. I never realized that. Maybe call me dumb, but I'm not sure. I didn't realize that there were spotters in these types of cars. I thought NASCAR, Busch North. But spotters in these cars? I never knew that.
Well, let's just get this straight right now, Todd. The NASCAR Whelen Modified Series, modifieds are the oldest NASCAR division. Of course, these cars are going to have spotters, a national recognized touring series, also with not only the Whelen Modified Series, what they call the Northern Tour, we also have the Southern Tour, and those guys have put on some pretty good racing, and you combine these two joints together, they do combo races. Of course, they got spotters. It's a big deal operation. We've seen the likes of some of the all-time greats come through, of course, racing in the honor of one of the greats we just lost tonight, a couple of days ago in Teddy Christopher, the King Richie Evans, a 9-time modified champion, the likes of the Jeff Bodines of the world, Jimmy Spencer's, Greg Sachs, most recently the likes of Steve Park, and even noticeably now, this year, Ryan Preece, a former, champion of the modifieds and a guy now out there driving for Joe Gibbs in the Xfinity Series of the NASCAR circuit, picked up a big win a few weeks ago at the Iowa Speedway. So these modified cars are no joke, Todd. They call by the grace of God and 600 horsepower. These things will give you a good ride.
As they're about ready to give us a good ride here on Full Velocity Network, green flag is in the air. These guys back to green flag racing, though, Phil. To get back to that just a little bit, do they do that on a Friday and normal Saturday night short track ordeal? Like if they're racing, if it's not a tour event, do they actually have spotters as there is the battle for the lead? You can answer that anytime you want, Phil.
Yes, they do indeed have spotters, and they're going to be saying car spinning in turn number 2, or turn number 4, rather. One car going around that may have been, looked like that either was it was a 41 of Josh Boyer, restarted second. Looks like he got a little bit out of shape, and the 41, our pole sitter, he's going to loop his way off of turn 4 now once out of the race lead. So these guys up in the front of the field here again there, Todd. Maybe not the place they want to be right now. As we say, restarts breed restarts, and unfortunately for the 41 of Josh Boyer, he spun around, and there was some heavy contact behind him. There may be some tore-up race cars in this one.
Definitely got to be some tore-up race cars in this one, but Mr. Joe Allen down in the broadcast trailer, he's ready with a replay already.
Yes, sir, guys. I am all over it. We didn't really miss much. I actually had it live on the screen when it happened, so these guys are pretty familiar with what exactly happened here, but we'll throw this thing in slow motion replay for everybody to see. Our leader, Josh Boyer, first time that somebody's beaten him on the hole punch on a restart here with the 13 of Harry Cody Annan. Boyer just loses it on the bottom there. 99 gets into him just a little bit. Looks like it's going to straighten him out, but it actually shoves him right back into traffic right in front of this green car on screen that tips Boyer off on his side, almost over end onto his roof. So some hard contact there. The guys stack up behind him. Everybody weaving down low, weaving high, trying to miss the wreck as we see some other cars come in here towards the end of our frame. But I don't think any other contact. But Boyer definitely the fastest car out here all night up to this point in the event, guys. And comes up just a little bit short, unfortunately. So definitely some heavy impact on the side, and he's gonna have to go down and see if they can repair that car just a little bit and see if he's in contention to go up there and try and win this thing towards the end of it. Could have some terminal motor damage though. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Yeah, terminal damage could be happening there, as you said, to that green machine, and tough break for Jeff Fugate there. I believe that was number 9 that was involved in that, and Josh Boyer's got some damage. That car went a little bit topsy-turvy, but one of these things is Todd just can't believe, as we're talking off air, that the concept of these cars, not only for the tour, have spotters, but he can't get over the fact that, so like an SK modified, or even stuff like a late models pro stocks up here in the Northeast, all these crews are equipped with spotters and two-way radio communication every week, and it's of a name of safety. And some of these places like a Thompson, it's probably one of the biggest short tracks of the country, especially here in the Northeast. These guys go hauling down to the corners, Todd, at a tremendous rate of speed, especially in these open wheel modifieds. I don't care if it's a small block modify, a Pro 4 modify, an SK Light, what they have now, which is a new crate motors that are popular up here. Spotters are crucial to any kind of short track racing. Maybe not so on the dirt, but on the pavement, they're mandatory at this point.
Yeah, well, I can understand it's a safety feature. Like it says, lights are extinction top the pace car, so I'll finish my comment a little bit. I just don't, on a Friday and Saturday night track, I just don't see the need of spotters. I know the dirt modifieds, the only time that they ever had spotters is up at Syracuse, the Moody Mile. They'd never have spotters for anything else, and they're wailing down through the corner pretty quick, 160 miles an hour at Syracuse. So, it's just one of those things. I'm impressed, I guess, that they have spotters. I didn't realize they would go down that far, and even late models, you said, have spotters, and all those other divisions have spotters. I'm just befuddled, I should say.
Well, Todd, and this is what I'll do for you, and I'll throw this out to any of my friends who may be out there, may be local, may want to make the trip. Mid-October, this Thompson Speedway does what they call the World Series of Asphalt Racing. Over 3 days, 16 different divisions of race cars, headlined, of course, by these NASCAR Whelen modified tour cars. And I'd love to come see you, have you come out here and experience this, Todd. Over 500 cars go to the pit area. and all those crews usually equipped with spotters, if you can believe that. I want you to come see full for yourself. But we are back to green flag racing. Harry Codian going to restart as your leader. Austin LaPlante, Everett Lentz, Aaron Maynard, and Jacob Simpson are your current top 5. Good racing going on for that second spot, Todd, between LaPlante and Everett Lentz. 87 looks to be a little bit faster, and he's going to try to use over that inside lane there as they exit turn number 4.
Yeah, Lentz looks a tad bit faster as LaPlante just gets him a little bit off the corner. Now he's right to the rear bumper there of Harry Codian. And we're looking through the field here, Phil. And there's been a pretty good shakeup in the top 5, not even that, the top 10 here. During pit stops, as Nebelstick was another guy that went down pit road, missed his pit stall. He had to start in the rear of the field. A lot of these guys, there was a huge shakeup up towards the front of this field. So right now, of course, Cody Adam leading this event in the number 13 machine. The 48 running in that second spot. Third, like you said, is Simpson. And fourth is now Lentz, as Lentz gave up that position to Simpson. And Menard is running inside the top 5 in that number 46 machine, so an impressive run. And Rubino, he's moved himself up to the 6th spot.
How about Dan Rubino in the 44, currently running 6th, and you gotta feel good for Bino anytime he's up near the front of one of these things. Good to see him having a good run. Currently up there, the 44 in that 6th spot. He's got a miracle right now of the 86 of Darrell Brown trying to drive his way back to the field. We know the 86 is fast. You know who else is fast there, Todd? The 46 of Aaron Maynard keeps peeking to the inside. He may have running room around the 87 there to the low side off of turn 2.
Yeah, he may have just a little bit of running room as that number 46 is down on the bottom side. The 87 drifts up the track. He does not give up much of a fight. Oh, the 87 makes contact. As I say, they're not giving up much of a fight. He bumper hooks the number 46 of Maynard, and they're around. It looks like even the 48 of LaPlante is around up there in front of him. Not sure what happened. There was a 2-for wreck deal there, Phil. As it looks like LaPlante and the number 13 of Codian also involved in a little scuffle over there in turns 1 and 2. But the initial caution was brought out by that number 46 machine.
No, it certainly was. And not exactly sure if there was just a disagreement of real estate or, if the 46 may have overdrove the corner and the 87 may have got him. Not exactly sure what to make of that here, looking at it myself. So let's let Joe show it off to our viewers. And what do you think there, Joe? Definitely contact, but I'm not so sure I call the fault of what may have precipitated the contact.
Yeah, the one thing we know for certain is that there was definitely contact made and there were cars that went around. And we got a couple things to look at under this replay. So we're going to focus ahead on the 2 cars barreling down here through turns 3 and 4. Looks like the pass is made, and as he starts coming up the hill just a little bit, gets a little bit loose, and that machine right behind him in the black and orange machine, the number 87, I'm sorry, just comes up on his bumper basically, guys, and just runs him over. Just trying to carry the momentum and carry the run essentially to try and make that pass. And I think he honestly, the hitboxes in these Whelen modifieds are a little bit different from what you may be characteristically used to running in NR 2003. And if you misjudge it just barely, it doesn't take a lot of contact to send these guys around. So this was the first part of our accident, guys. Let's skip forward here. See if we can't find Harry Codian and Austin LaPlante. There's that accident. This happened almost simultaneously to what we just saw beforehand. So we'll put this thing on the 48 machine of Austin LaPlante as well. As he gets up, he's actually under fire from the 99 machine of Jacob Simpson. And I'm not sure if Codian, that's not a very good angle. Let me see if I can get a different camera angle here. Yeah, this might be a little bit better angle. We'll replay this back real quick. I'm not sure if Codian just got loose or if he had contact from the 48 machine that helped him go around. Let's take a look here as Austin LaPlante barrels that thing down into turn 1, guys. Looks like just, just the slightest contact. That's all it takes. Something as slight as what we saw there going down into turn 1 sent that 13 machine of the 48 of Austin LaPlante up into 13 of Codian, and Codian actually skirts that thing up onto the wall there, almost goes over end on his roof, but it looks like he's able to keep it on its side. Not sure if he's going to get it down on 4 wheels or not as we see him start to slide down the minimal banking that we have at Thompson, but troubles for the 2 fastest cars, as there we see the 13 go over end on his roof, and that's probably going to require a tow to get down to pit road, guys. But as we say that's our 2 front leaders tonight so far that we've seen go end over end, and accidents that have occurred on these restarts. And two of the fastest guys that dominated the first half of this event are both facing some severe troubles with their race cars now. So, this is anybody's race at this point on, past halfway here. It's going to be exciting and fun. Back up to you guys in the booth.
No, absolutely right, Joe. And there's a lot of interesting takeaways from that there, Todd. But, the common denominator in both those incidents, the long front end in the Whelen modifieds, that just to take your Whelen education a little bit further, Todd, you know what that is called in one of these open wheel modified cars when they give you that front end with that little bump? You know what that's called? Well, I asked Todd, and Todd gives me silence, but Joe Allen off the back channel, which I wish you all would have heard. Joe, you want to say that over open air so everybody can hear that? What is that called?
Absolutely, I'll answer it. That, my friend, is what we call the chrome horn.
The chrome horn, something that's coined up here in the Northeast with these Whelen modifieds. And, one of those things that happens here with these long front ends on one of these cars, but it's something a lot of guys have made very famous over the years. As we get the restart, just now past the halfway mark, 65 of 120 on the board. So this race starting to zoom on by, and, having a great time with it is just always good to call modified races here live on Full Velocity. Jacob Simpson restarted with the lead with Dan Rubino, Darrell Brown, Steve Rubino, and our point leader, Jeff Stakanis, has found his way down to the top 5. But Todd Stanton, yellow flag is on the Speedway. I'm not sure if you're going to glimpse out what happened there, but what put us under this current caution flag?
You talk about another car, that's Jeff Stakanis, and guess what? He's around in that number 31, so tough break for Stakanis in that number 31 machine. Your points leader, he won around too. I don't know if that's a courtesy of the chrome horn. We're going to leave that for Joe. Or maybe he was just getting a little bit out of shape in that number 31 machine. But I'm going to throw it down to Joey the Jet, Joe Allen down there in the trailer. Joe, what happened to Jeff Stakanis?
Yes, sir, guys. Jeff Stakanis finally started making his way back forward, and we got the second edition, book number 2 of the chrome horn, and this time it was a mean chrome horn. As we're looking at the 06 MT Johnson, just overblows the corner and right into the back of the 31. I think he intended to use Jeff Stakanis as a braking mechanism to try and slow that car down just a little bit, and it just so happened that it did not work as they were hoping, and Stakanis, unfortunately, the innocent bystander there that got the chrome horn and sent him right up into the fence and out of the way, and he'll have to turn that thing back around and take some tires here under this latest caution and start from the rear again and try to get himself back up into the top 5 once again. So tough break for Jeff Stakanis. He had finally just cracked it, guys. He's going to have to restart that over and see if maybe he can get back to this thing by the end of the event. Luckily for him, we still got it roughly 50 or so laps left, so he's got some time to get back up there, but he's going to really have to work his way up there a lot quicker than he did through the first half of the race. Back up to you guys in the booth.
I'm not sure that one's an instance of the chrome horn happening there. I think that one may just be a completely misjudged of the corner, somebody braking a little bit soon, in the 06 just getting in the back of the 31 there. I would normally associate with the chrome horn under green flag racing, where you're faster than the guy you're in front of. Give him a little love tap there, use that chrome horn. And, as we pay tribute to the memory of Teddy Christopher here tonight, one of the great things about those chrome horn, Teddy had what they called the 3-tap rule. First tap was, I'm here. Second tap is, all right, man, you pick a lane, I'm faster. The third tap means I'm going to pick that lane for you and move your little butt out of the way. And that's what those chrome horns are all about. Not exactly sure if that one justifies it there, as the 06 of MT Johnson looked like he just may have blew that corner and maybe wasn't expecting Stakanis to be up there. But that's just one of those things when the field reshuffles, and you see guys like the 31 Todd started a shotgun on the field, worked his way a little bit here, a little bit there. Just maybe a difference of our guys, not being familiar with the breaking points of maybe a new car up at the front of this thing like Jeff was right there.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Jeff Stakanis. And Hopefully they get too much damage out of the deal. I got to see the tail end of it, like I said, and I got to hear a little bit of Joe's explanation there. And like I said, tough break for those guys. It seems like that's not where you want to be, is up front right now. The leaders have been going around. If you're within the top 5 or 6, it seems like fair game there, and just people are going around. And these guys will get to calm down just a little bit. I'm pretty sure of that. Jacob Simpson right now, your current race leader, in that number 99 machine. Dan Rubino running in second in the 44. Third is the 86 of Darrell Brown. Steve Rubino has moved his way up to the 4th position in the number 21. M. Johnson in that 06. He is running 5th on the field right now, getting ready. Hopefully the pace lights do go out. They do indeed. Lentz is going to get one of his laps back as he spent a lengthy time on pit road. He was smoking pretty heavily underneath the hood of that machine. Now he's got it fixed, but I'm not sure how well it is fixed in that number 87 machine. But good to see him back out on the speedway. 2 laps down, he's going to get 1 lap one lap back, courtesy of the Lucky Dog. We're down the back straightaway, Phil. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. We're on lap 72 of 120 here at the Thompson Speedway.
Yeah, we absolutely are. As the laps start to click down here at a fast rate, and looking up to the front, we find the new race leader, the number 99 of Jacob Simpson. Bring back old childhood memories, seeing a white 99 leading at Thompson. Old Jeff Bodine, had torrid seasons on that white number 99, the old white tornado. We'll see if Jacob Simpson could take that car and that paint scheme up for another ride as green flags in the air. Jacob with the lead. How about the run for Bino there? The 44 of Dan Rubino up to that 2nd spot. Darrell Brown once again nestled to 3rd. Steve Rubino 4th, and MT Johnson the 06. That's your current top 5. Todd, they're off at turn 4.
Yeah, off of turn 4, down the front straightaway, completing lap 73. Now on lap 74 of 120 here at the Thompson Speedway. It is your current race leader, Jacob Simpson, pacing the field. And that number 99 machine, 2nd running is Dan Rubino. Darrell Brown is running in that 3rd spot. Meanwhile, battle for the 4th position between Steve Rubino and Johnson in that 06 machine. He looked low there momentarily, not able to pull off the pass, got a little bit loose in that 06 machine. That's going to fall him back into the crutches of that number 14 as Rubino in the number 21 trying to pull away and trying to get away from those guys, so that way maybe he is not going to be tracked down by Johnson. Johnson right now about 4 or 5 car lengths behind him.
And I'm looking up, back outside the top 5 there, Todd. One driver rebounded really nicely. Well, that would be Rich Knappick, the number 6. He's now charged himself back up into the top 10. Just made the move around Dion Hinsky. So moved that number 6 car now back up to P6, and he is coming forward. I mean, these guys don't really get too much far away from each other at the 5/8 snow as Thompson, but that 6 car seems to be on a mission right now. Rich Knappick, Todd, he's starting to move back to the front.
Yeah, just moments ago, like we said, it seems like moments ago there, Phil. It was probably around lap 35-40 where the number 6 of Knappick was about ready to go 1 lap down to the leader, and at that time the leader was Boyer. Boyer right now in 19th. How the tides have turned in that number 41 machine, as he is in the back of the pack after his travesty of a wreck up in the front of the field. He is right now running in that 19th position. Looks like he has some heavily damaged motor components in that number 41 machine. You could just hear the sound of it as it flashes by, how it sounds in that number 41 machine. Tough break for Boyer. Like I said, running in the 20th position now in that number 41.
Yeah, our pole sitter here led the opening laps, led the good first 25 laps, and now with contact from that wreck, as Todd said, is found his way out of contention. As did the likes of, say, Aaron Maynard was up there, the 46. He's, relegated now back to the 18th position. Everett Lynch, the 87, we saw him get turned around. His night just continues to get worse. Now 1 lap down, currently 22nd. So look, that's the update from guys that were up there, concentrating on what's going on up there now. You find the lights of Jacob Simpson, the 99, Todd, starting to drive away from this field a little bit as these laps continue now to click down. A little less than 40 laps to go. We have a good old-fashioned sprint race happening here at Thompson on a Thursday night. That's home sweet home, man. Thursday night racing at Thompson, it was a staple for a long time.
Well, and Simpson right now, as he puts another lap down on the number 87, Lentz. Lentz now 2 laps down to the rears as they flash by the number 87. So Lentz now 2 laps down to the rears. Jacob Simpson trying to run away from Dan Rubino, and he's doing so here. Looking at some of the lap times that, let's say, the number 99 is going to run, but we're actually not going to get to the lap times. This yellow flag out once again. It looks like for Jeff Stakaitis in the number 31 machine once again around in and out.
Yeah, around it or not into turns number 3 and 4. Just got it loose down on a flat spot and, just got the back end loose and around. So tough break for Jeff Stakaitis. It's been a very up and down night. And, when he seemed to have it going in the right direction there, Joe, he got turned out of the top 5. Now trying to charge his way through, maybe a little bit guilty of possibly overdriving that race car. He's around to the wrong direction there. Once again, up at turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, unfortunate, guys. You know what the old saying is, when it rains, it pours, and unfortunately for Jeff Stakaitis, it's raining, and after this wreck, it's starting to pour now, too. Just compounding insult to injury. He goes down there into turn 3 and 4, trying to make a pass to move himself up further, and just loses it on his own down there on the bottom. And, you said it, turns 3 and 4 are treacherous here at Thompson, and it's proven that tonight. We've seen at least 2/3 of the accidents so far that have put us under caution here this evening have happened on the bottom side there. Guys just trying to use up the racetrack to carry momentum, and it's slick down there, and they're learning it, time and time again as they go down through there. And unfortunately, Jeff Stakaitis is the latest victim of the spin in turns 3 and 4 here. So he'll get that thing flipped back around, put 4 fresh ones back on it once again, and maybe retry again. Maybe the third time's the charm here, and Jeff can get himself back up towards the front of this field. Back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, so we'll reset here and highlight what the happenings of one Jeff Stakaitis. He's going to restart deep in the field. As Joe said, it's just one of them things here now. But as we get to these closing laps there, Todd Stanton, 85 of 120 on the board, and you may see guys using a little bit of tire strategy come this point of the race, coming onto pit road. 2 tires, 4 tires. I mean, it's becoming like a 35 lap shootout here. I mean, the normal SK modified distance here on a Thursday night at Thompson, well, it's 30 laps. So we're just outside that window, and we're going to see a good old-fashioned sprint race. Thompson, for years and years, featured Thursday night weekly racing, and it's just cool to see guys like HOBO Racing with the Whelen Modifieds come out here and just to name drop a little more out of the Whelen ranks. And, always typically in the month of August, of course now into September, but the actual NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour visited Thompson on their traditional Thursday night in the month of August, and that race a couple of weeks ago, well, it was won by probably the hottest shoe out in NASCAR right now. A young Ryan Preece picked up his 4th win of the season, and he just joins the ranks of the many names and the greats that have won at Thompson over the years. And of course, the Whelen Modifieds, they open up their schedule at Thompson here with the icebreaker in April. They run 3 more times throughout the course of the season here, and then they close it out at the World Series of Speedway Racing in October. So it's one of those, strange occurrences. These guys race 4 times a year at Thompson. They start and they finish at the same racetrack. I mean, anybody who knows anything about Whelen Modified Racing, Thompson Speedway is home sweet home. Thompson was the runner of the first ever NASCAR sanctioned, tour race for the Whelen Modifieds years ago, back in 1986. That race was won by the late great, or 1985 rather, won by Richie Evans, who went on to win the champion that year posthumously. Unfortunately, Richie, a 9-time national modified champion before it was actually crowned into what it is now, the Tour. So, just one of the little tidbits. I know we're kind of off key what these guys are doing on the racetrack under caution, but I just love the history of the Speedway as a guy who's called thousands of races here, has seen hundreds of thousands of laps here. It's just cool to be home here, Todd, tonight, and green flag racing up in the air. And how about we find Dan Rubino, old Dino, up in the front of this field here as we hit lap number 88 under green.
Yeah, Dan Rubino out front in that number 44 machine, the 14 right now, running in that second spot, trying to look over the bottom. We are back under yellow flag once again as Rubino trying to get a run there. We are on lap 88 of 120. Yellow flag once again out on the field here at Thompson Speedway there, Phil.
Yeah, and it just seems to be one of those nights here at Thompson where, guys just getting a little bit antsy, a little bit loose, and I'm not sure there was contact here through turns number 1 and 2. I saw the pride of Riverside, Rhode Island, the number 710 of Manny Diaz going around up in turn number 1 and 2. Not sure where there was contact there, but did see the pride of Riverside, Rhode Island, get a little bit loose and up in the outside wall. And not sure if anybody else was piling in or not, but looks like it may just be a combination of a solo spin there, Joe Allen. Is that right? Looks like mechanical failure may have hit Manny Diaz in turn one.
Yeah, you're right on it, or pretty close to. It looks like Manny Diaz just dives it down into turn one here. Really no one around him. A lot of space in front, a lot of space behind him. Just gets up out of the groove, overshoots the corner just a little bit, gets up into that slick stuff up by the wall, and self spins. It looks like he's able to keep it up there, and I think everyone is able to get around him. He starts rolling down the hill here just a little bit, and everybody's able to get around him, which is good. So I believe Manny Diaz actually pulled that thing behind the wall as well, as we see the car disappear on screen. I think he ended up parking that machine for the end of the evening as well. But just a self spin, guys. That's what we saw there. Self spin, just out of the groove into the slick stuff. No other cars involved in the contact, however. So we'll get this thing restacked up and get ourselves under green for a little bit of a 30-lap shootout is what it's turning out to be. Back up to you guys in the booth.
No, it absolutely is. As we'll reset here and we'll see if we can't. Maybe, Todd, what do you think? We do our quick full field rundown here at lap 90. What do you think?
I think we should do it there, Phil. I mean, you're really good at this. This is like your favorite track. I'm in awe listening to you here at Thompson Speedway and all the tidbits that you have. It's just one of those things I enjoy listening to it tonight.
Well, it's home track for me. It's so rich in history. The second and fourth ever, meetings of a NASCAR Association of Stock Car Auto Racing, which is known as NASCAR, were held on the grounds of a Thompson Speedway. We was able to see a lot of the great photos that Mr. Honig put up over the years up in the clubhouse restaurant, and see the likes of Big Bill France out there, Bill France Sr., the likes of Lee Petty, back in the day, all the likes of all the guys that were around in the first formation of NASCAR. It's all happened right here on the hallowed grounds of the famous 5-8 Smile known as the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park today. One of these great things I hope to see over the years, it's a call out to all these great track builders out here. About 5 or 6 years ago, there was a road course implemented outside these grounds of the Oval, and one day I would love to see that racetrack come to life in this sim and showcase how cool that facility is, getting to drive by it and see some of the sports cars out there doing laps. I mean, what a beautiful facility. It's been home to me all my life. I've called races here. I've been able to call races alongside the likes of the great Russ Dowd, Ben Dodge, Al Robinson, Mike Joy from NASCAR TV. I've got to call a race to him. Also, Alan Bestwick has come through. So I've got to share shoulders a lot of the years of my time at Thompson, calling some of the races with the greats of the game. And, it's cool. Anytime I get to come back out here and to showcase the history of this racetrack and get me out here with the modifieds, I mean, it's a good night there, Todd. But I believe we'll be coming here to Green Flag Racing here in just a minute.
Yeah, green flag is going to come out here momentarily. Green flag is now in the air, the earth shaking. The ground pounding modifieds are back. Green flag racing down into turn one. Dan Rubino leading them with the number 14 running in that second spot. Third right now is Austin LaPlante. He is all over the number 14, and that's a brightly painted number 14 machine. I mean, if you miss that car out there on the track, you're doing something wrong. As now the 14 still running, but it looks like LaPlante goes to the high side, makes contact with the wall. Ooh, never good to make huge contact with the wall. Austin LaPlante just did so. The number 99 machine is trying to make his way back up through the field. That is Jacob Simpson. I believe he took fresh Goodyear tires on that machine there, Phil, and he's starting to make his way up through the field. Excuse me, Hoosier tires in the number 99 machine. I'm getting those a little messed up here this evening.
How about the run now? We see him falling outside the top 5, running side by side with Jacob Simpson. How about Rob Keller with the number 0 car, guys? Up in the top 5, having a great run. And in the closing laps here is 96 of 120 on the board. Rob Keller may be in contention for a win here, but contact off of turn number 4, the 46 around, the 99 with a big hit. And wow, Todd, it's happening fast here at Thompson. Caution flag on the speedway. This may be one of the more wilder scenarios and crashes we've seen here all night long.
Yeah, yellow flag indeed out there on the speedway, and there was contact. Maynard and the 99, I see those guys just out of the corner of my eyes made contact, and I heard there's a huge pile up over there on the front straightaway. I'm not sure who had him at the line. I believe Rubino just barely had the 48 of LaPlante at the line. We'll have to wait and see how that scoring and timing shakes out. But I'm going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time. I'm going to call, Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton. Boy, well, that's a throwback. Mr. Joe Allen. Joey is down there in the broadcast trailer for the replay.
I was wondering how long it was going to take before it happened. You'd think, through 9 or 10 shows, Todd, we would be past that. I would expect it in like the first show, but it's all right. I'll give you a pass on it for now. But we're going to focus our attention on the 46 of Maynard and that number 14 machine of DJ Hinsky, that bright green machine. Looks like Hinsky comes up the hill just a little bit. A little bit of tire taps there with the 46 machine. Sends the 46 up the hill, back down the hill. Thought maybe they were going to miss it. Oh, big contact for the number 99 machine right there that we saw of Jacob Simpson. That's one of our other that's 3 of the fastest cars so far tonight, guys, that we have seen come on the racetrack, and they've been rolled over onto their lids and had some huge damage as a result of what's happened. Big contact for the 99 there. Unfortunate. We were just talking about the Zero machine of Ron Keller, I believe, how great of a run he was having. And as you can see here on the front stretch now, there's Stakanis in the 31. There's the 46, the 86. I see the 21 getting spun around. There's the 52 of Nebelsick going around. I see the 6 back there. And as you guys can see on the front stretch now, it turns into an absolute parking lot. There is nowhere for anyone to go, and cars are being collected all over the place. I'm seeing black smoke flying, cars with heavy engine damage, a lot of damage for a lot of these cars out here now. This is arguably probably the biggest wreck we've seen of the evening, unfortunately. A lot of cars that we've seen up in the top 5 and the top 10 all night were involved in this accident, guys. So this is going to shake up the finishing order towards the end of this thing as well, where maybe some guys that we weren't used to seeing up towards the front are going to start making their way towards the front. And guys like Josh Boyer, who are on their lid, I'm seeing scoring and timing right now. He's running in the 5th spot, guys. So this is going to be an interesting last 20 laps of the event that we're going to have coming up here. Back to you guys in the booth.
I could not agree more, Todd. It seems like every time we get a restart, something happens, and the next restart is a completely different story and a different, completely different complexion. So, this time around, it's still Dan Rubino. Dino out there with the lead, the 44. Austin LaPlante is second to the 48. Dion Hinsky is now third. Rob Keller fourth. Josh Boyer is currently fifth in the 41. He's rebounded nicely, as has Jeff Stakanis at 31. Also, Harry Codian is seventh. Darrell Brown back up to eighth. Steve Rubino ninth. Roger Nebelsick, he's your current top 10 scored driver. 11th, we find Rich Napick. 12th, MT Johnson. Rich Fenkel is 13th. Larry D is 14th, and Jeff Fugate, he's found himself off the pace all night. The 9 car currently saddled back in the 15th position. Wild Bill on the lead lap, currently 16th. The dog, John Palmer, is 17th. Bob Becker, the old pushrod's out there tonight in the 17. He is currently 18th. Everett Lintz back on the lead lap, 19th. Last driver left on the racetrack. 4 drivers now out of the event. The last 2 in this current caution flag, the 46 of Aaron Maynard, the 99 of Jacob Simpson. Both those cars out for the evening with terminal damage, as is the 710 of Manny Diaz. And Cal Lovell, who came in tonight, Todd, 5-time winner on the season, leads the series. Well, Cal made a brief stint here tonight. He showed up in the pit area. Issues happening there, but the 12 of Cal Lovell will finish up 23rd tonight. One of those staggering things, anytime you come to HOBO, you think Cal Lovell is going to be one of the names up front. Has been 5 times, and unfortunately, he was the first car of the event. As we just begin a restart, caution flag back on the speedway, and a tough break for Rob Keller. Was up in the top 5, and now I see him, Todd, up against the outside wall. Tough break for that flying 0.
Yeah, it looks like contact made between Boyer and the number 0 machine, and the 0 goes around, and that's a tough break. We're going to throw it out to Joe Allen down there in the broadcast booth. He's down there talking to himself once again, so we're going to have to throw it down there. Joe, we know you're ready with that replay already.
Down here talking to myself. That's a new one. I like it. We're going to focus on the 0 of Rob Keller, the 41 of Josh Boyer. Rob sort of moves down the racetrack, guys, towards the middle, almost like he looked like he may have been trying to block the run of the 41 just a little bit, but fortunately, the 41 already there. He just got the 41 of, the 41 gets a huge run down the front straightaway, Josh Boyer. and just the 0 trying to defend his territory, and the 41 just outbreaks him a little bit, and contact there. Really nowhere Boyer could have really went besides going down into the grass and probably collecting another 6 or 7 cars with him if that would have happened. And Keller unfortunately ends up into the fence, guys, and then we see the back end of that, the number 6 machine and the 06 machine have some contact as well as a little secondary incident. And there goes the 6 machine rolling on his lid too. That's another fast guy that we've seen on their lid tonight, guys. So a lot of these cars, thank goodness for those reinforced roll cages. And as we see black smoke piling out of the 6 machine there, unfortunate for him. His night's going to come to an end here at the towards the end of this race. So unfortunate for him. He was trying to rebound and get himself back up into the top 10 as well. So a lot of heavy hitters in the field having some troubles throughout the race, guys. This is we got a lot of guys that maybe we didn't expect personally to be up towards the front that are up at the front now. So it's going to make for an interesting and exciting finish here as we get ready to wrap this thing up. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Once again, like I said, tough break for those drivers out there. We'll let Joe get back to talking to himself down there in the YouTube chat box, explain to all these guys down in the YouTube chat box why they're going to be coming to take him away later in this evening tonight. So we'll just wait and see what happens to Joe as we're getting ready to restack all these guys and repack them and get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. But first, we have not done this yet here tonight. We're going to do our picks here of the evening YouTube chat box. You can do the same thing. Who you got? We know you got a favorite out there. Pick them. Let's hear them out there in that YouTube chat box. But we're going to throw it to Mr. Phil. This is his home territory. We're going to give him the first pick here this evening.
All right, well, give me the first pick as we're getting set up for a restart here. But looking up and down the list, gotta love what Dan Rubino's doing. Think he's in a good spot here, especially with the carnage and the wrecks and all these fast cars that are tore up. But I'm a lucky horseshoe kind of guy. I'm going to take the 31 of Jeff Stakanis. If you can have an up and down night, he certainly has. Start shotgun, drive up the top 5, get wrecked, come back, wreck again. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the 31 of Stakanis is a victory lane there, Todd.
Oh, the 31 of Jeff Stakanis, good pick. But we're going to throw it to Joe. Now, Joe's down there talking to himself. I'm sure he's got a pick, probably a couple different picks that he wants to pick. Joe, who do you got here this evening?
Well, guys, I believe he won last time we were here on DRTV, or he finished up in the top 5. I'm going to go ahead and take the 48 machine of Austin LaPlante to win this thing tonight.
Well, Todd, that's 2. We've got Stakanis, we've got LaPlante. I know, Todd, you got to be taking the leader. If I know Todd at all, who takes the easy way out, go ahead, Todd. Who do you got?
No, I definitely can't do that to Mr. Rubino up there in the front. I can't give him the black cloud. Unfortunately, I probably could give the black cloud to somebody else. But I'm going to go off on a limb here and pick. I'm going to pick Austin LaPlante in the 48. Running second. Is that a good line? Oh, wait, never mind. So Austin LaPlante was picked by Joe. That shows you how much I've been paying attention to Joe here this evening. So I'll pick I'll pick the number 86 of Darrell Brown. He's back there running in that 6th position. I'm going to go with Darrell Brown.
All right, well, picks for the Full Velocity Network here. I want to see them coming in the chat box as we restart with 10 laps remaining. It is Dan Rubino off of turn number 2 with the lead. Second spot, we find the 48 of Austin LaPlante, the 14 of Dion Hinsky. They're right there, but off of turn 4, Todd, here comes the 48 to the low side. Austin LaPlante looking for a lead into turn 1.
Yeah, it looks like Austin LaPlante's going to seal the deal through turn number 1 and off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. The 41 now in the lead. The 14 and now making his way to that second spot, getting underneath Dan Rubino. Rubino is way up top of the track, and they're 3 wide, and Rubino in the track there, and the 13 around. The yellow flag's going to fly. That was an interesting chain of events there. That was so hard to call there, Phil. They were sideways, and I thought they were going to bring it back. And they definitely didn't bring it back there on the front straightaway. Yellow flag going to come out as a car around on the front stretch.
Well, the racetrack is certainly wide enough to go 3 wide. But when they have the foot on the floor, with that gas pedal down, sometimes these things don't hook up right and contact happens. And it's one of those things, 3 wide scenario. The 44 of Rubino, got up on the outside wall. I think the was a green car of Hinsky there, got a little bit checked up, and that just sets off a wild ride here. So let's not talk about it. Let's show what happened. So, Joe, you've been busy tonight, but another full velocity rewind. Show us what happened.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. I have the camera focused on the 31 of Justicanus. He's got probably one of the best views of how the accident happened. Looks like that number 14 machine of DJ Hinsky gets up into the side of Danny Rubino there in the 44 coming off of turn 4 here. Looks like they were almost 3 wide with the 13 of Harry Codian as well. So that sends the 14 back down across the nose of the 13 machine of Harry Codian. Jeff Stacanis right in the middle there. And these guys all just kind of fan out looking to miss and avoid him. So back this thing up one more time so we give the viewers one more look at it as we see if maybe I can get a view of the 13 car there, because it looked like Harry Codian on the bottom, as you guys can see, just about took these guys 3 wide off of turn 4. 14 maybe tried to move up a little bit to give him some space down there, and that number 44 machine of Danny Rubino was just up at the top, nowhere for him to really go. So Stacanis there with a little bit of contact with the 14. Codian keeps the thing straight and keeps going, and these guys fan out behind him. So looks like the only guy with the most issues there was the 14 of DJ Hinsky, and he's going to have to restart from the rear of this field and see if he can work his way back up there. He was having a great run for most of the night. Just an unfortunate break for him towards the end of this thing. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Well, if anybody hasn't been cheated tonight, it's certainly been our fans out there in the YouTube chat box. You guys are seeing a pretty intense race out here. We've seen a lot of tore up race cars, you know. I know, Todd, you have young kids. I have young kids. I know you take yours out to the racetrack. I know when I was younger, and I was my kid's age now. I got brought up to the racetrack. I wanted to go out to the short tracks and see some cars wrecking. If you're a fan of that, you've seen a lot of bent up race cars here tonight. But let's not take the fact away from this. It has been one awesome race. This racetrack tonight has put on some terrific racing.
Yeah, it definitely has put on some really good racing here this evening. Thompson Speedway, you know, it's always been one of my favorite tracks that we visit, rather it be on DRTV, OLR-TV, RLM-TV back in the day. Those two. Thompson was one of my favorites that I got to broadcast at. Even though I didn't know as much history as Phil did, I had a lot of fun here, and there was a lot of good racing that goes on here, Phil. I mean, the tracks have just got better, but that number 48 of Austin LaPlante, he is your current race leader. Does he have what it takes as the lights are extinguished atop that pace car? We're going down the back chute, Phil. Does he have what it takes to hold off and fend the charges of those guys behind him?
Well, if anybody knows Austin LaPlante, he's always a guy who's always fast, always seems to have that extra late race horsepower and muscle. So we'll have to see what that 48 can do, if he can bring this checkered flag home here tonight for our buddies at Hobo Racing. You know, DJ Hinsky going to restart second. Harry Codian third, Jeff Stacanis, Dan Rubino, your top 5. A 4-lap shootout to settle it here tonight, live on Full Velocity. Green flag is in the air, and the big jumper here on the restart, Todd. The 13 of Harry Codian, he goes from 4th now to that 2nd spot, and closing now off of turn 4.
Yeah, closing rather quickly is Harry Codian in that number 13 machine on the 48 of LaPlante, as he was getting ready to get a little bit loose there in the corner. Looks like he's overdriving the corners just a little bit in that 48 machine. Austin LaPlante trying to hold on to the lead as Harry Codian running in that 2nd spot, about 5 car lengths behind him. And then the number 14 is right there. That's Hinsky. As now the 48 drifts up the track just a little bit, leaving the door open for the 13. The 13 pounds the outside wall, down the front straightaway. 2 to go.
2 to go at the line. 2 more trips around the 5A smile off of turn number 2. Austin LaPlante, he sees that clean air ahead as they head toward turn number 3. Gonna see white flag up in the air from a starter. Here comes Harry Codian down to the low side. Can't find running room. 1 more trip around.
White silk in the air. 1 more trip around the Thompson Speedway. Sideways is the number 13 of Harry Codian through 1 and 2 down the back straightaway into corner number 3. Yellow is out on the Speedway. I don't know if these guys race back there, Phil. They are racing back for the win. Looks like Austin LaPlante going to take down the win.
Austin LaPlante going to take down the win here at Thompson in a 120-lap main event for the Hobo Racing Modified Series. Harry Codian going to finish up second. Dion Hinsky third, Jeff Stacanis fourth, and Darrell Brown rounds out your top 5. Had a great rebound, and I don't know about you, Todd. That was a lot of fun, man, and a good race by Austin LaPlante.
Yeah, definitely a good race by Austin LaPlante in that number 48 machine, taking down the win. Last time he was on a live broadcast event, I hate to bring it up though, Phil, he did wreck within the last 5 laps. So this is a great way to rebound Austin LaPlante, picking up a win here on the Full Velocity Network this evening, and a great showing by all these guys from Hobo Racing.
Yeah, right. And we get to live one more night with the Las Vegas lover boy, Joe Allen. Throws it out there. I picked the race winner once again, so there's really going to be no living with Joe whatsoever here as we transition on to the post-race show here live tonight on Full Velocity. We go down to Gatorade Victory Lane. We'll find Joe Allen, go down there with our winner, Austin LaPlante. I'll see if I can't scooch on down to get the runner-up finisher, of course, Harry Cody in, but I'm going to throw it down to Todd first of all. I believe, Todd, you're going to get our third place finisher here tonight, and that's Dion Hinsky in the 14. So take it away, Todd.
Yeah, I'm down here with the driver, the number 14, Dion Hinsky. Hinsky, you had a good run here tonight in that number 14 machine. You were running second for quite some time, and tell us about your trip around the Thompson Speedway, and it was a great race here this evening.
Yeah, I think the car ran pretty good. I had some issues with a few points early there, but we got through it. And the guys here at Hobo are really, it's a good bunch. We kind of get onto each other every now and then, but who doesn't that races every week? So.
Oh, Dion, you had a good run, third place finish, podium finish here. You're on the Full Velocity Network. You get a chance to show your stuff here tonight and what Hobo Racing is all about, and you did a good job here tonight. Tell us a little bit. Like I said, you had tributes and trials. You had a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of yellow flags here in the middle portion of this event, and some late ones there. Tell us about some of your trips up through the field. I know you struggled there early, but you got yourself all the way back up through. And how'd you miss those wrecks that were happening in front of you there?
Close my eyes. I honestly don't know. You just after a while, you really just kind of have to feel your way through stuff like that. I wish I was good as it turned out, but it just you get used to stuff after a while, and you kind of pick your way through. You get used to the way that cars spin, and hopefully you can miss them.
Well, Dan, again, congratulations on your third place finish tonight. I'm going to give you the microphone. The floor is all yours. You can thank whoever you'd like to thank here tonight.
First off, I think anybody that's been around mods for a while knows Teddy Christopher, and our hearts all go out to him. Man, that was really a sad deal. Hope that his family gets through all this. There's been quite a few of those types of tragedies in the past, but some reason the guys that come from the homespun type divisions seem to hit you a little harder. And I'd like to thank Steve and the guys for putting this on every week. We have a pretty good time. Got a good group, and enjoy it.
Well, again, getting our thoughts go out to Teddy Christopher, his family, everybody. I know it's a shocker up here in the Northeast, losing him, and Phil knows an awful lot, has a lot of background at Thompson Speedway, and probably spent a lot of time getting to know that guy, Teddy Christopher. As I'm more on the dirt scene of things, but it always strikes hard when you lose one of those fellow racers.
Yes, it does.
Well, again, congratulations tonight on your third place finish, Dion. We're going to throw it down to Phil Lucas down there, chasing down our second place finisher, driver number 13, Harry Codian.
Yeah, absolutely. Chasing down the number 13 of Harry Codian. Harry, old friend, good to talk to you once again. And a podium finish here on Full Velocity, buddy. Got to be happy. It was a topsy-turvy night for you.
Yeah, it was a little crazy there. Kind of interesting. Took a roll during caution there, but was able to fight back. Definitely a fun race, and nice to talk with you guys. I know you jumped in late to cover this, and we really appreciate that.
Oh, our pleasure, absolutely. And anytime we come out and showcase this awesome Hobo Racing Whelen Modified Series, a modified guy in my own right, you know I'm going to jump at that chance and to come out to my home base of Thompson here tonight and be able to root on that number 13 to see Harry Cody and bring a number that's been so synonymous home and synonymous with the late, great Teddy Christopher we just lost here. one spot short, I'm sure, where you wanted it to be, Harry. But what an intense race for all you guys out here tonight. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to get back there. Definitely driving the 13. Very intense. A lot of fun. Love racing here at Hobo. Steve, Dan, they do a great job, and very thankful to be able to race over here with these guys.
No, absolutely right. Well, Harry, I know you've got a tremendous following in our YouTube chat box. A lot of family and friends and sponsors and whoever may be out there watching you tonight. So I'm going to give you the microphone to give a shout out and thank all those who may be out there watching. And congratulations once again on an awesome second place run.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I want to thank my son. He painted that car up for me, a little San Diego car there. Appreciate that. And, of course, appreciate you guys jumping in and Hobo Racing. And, of course, have to thank my longtime friend there, Dave Rule. Missing him. And, again, like I said before, he's the one that got me into online racing. So definitely, thank him.
Absolutely. Anytime we can give Dave a shout out and remember his memory, we absolutely do so as well. Well, Harry, my friend, it's been a little while, but it's awesome. Good to talk to you for the first time here now on the Full Velocity Network. But let's make this a habit, old friend. Let's do this again here soon. What do you say?
It sounds good to me. I love you guys' coverage. Can't wait to go watch it. Thank you guys very much.
Oh, absolutely. That's our friend Harry Cody. Yeah, and you got to bring that thing home on the podium tonight. Runner-up finishing that second spot, but I'm going to throw it down to a very, very, very happy and partying victory lane there. Joe Allen, you've caught up with our race winner, Austin LaPlante, and that looks to be a wild celebration and a scene from where I can see it down here.
Yes, sir, guys. I have caught up with our race winner tonight. Another first-time winner on the Full Velocity Network. We always love to come down here and interview the first-time winners. Austin, awesome job out there tonight. Last time we saw you live on the air at Thompson, we were formerly with DRTV, and you ran into some late race troubles out of a top 5 finish, but you sealed the deal tonight. You were my pick to win the race. I just want to make sure you know that. So you didn't get the black cloud. I'm not carrying it tonight. So congratulations, buddy. Tell us about your race. It looked like it was a little bit up and down through the first half of it, but once you got yourself up into the top 5 into the second half of the race, you were one of the dominant cars for the most part.
Yes, I was, Joe. It was a very hectic night for me. First of all, right now I'm getting my room repainted right now. That's what my setup where I usually have when I'm racing. It wasn't really the same setup that I usually have when I raced like back then every time I race here at Hobo, but I somehow got the job done tonight. All done in the name of TC Teddy Christopher. I possibly could have meet you when I go to New Hampshire Motor Speedway this upcoming weekend, September 23rd and 24th. With the race itself, started I think it was 6. Was doing decent. The first long green flag run before halfway, tires started to really tires were really letting off, wearing the rubber down, losing grip right there. And with that that crash with the 13, I mean, right when the caution came out, he slowed down way too much. I wasn't really expecting. That's why you saw him like spin around and flip over. I did go to the end of the line because I seriously felt very bad for him. But I'm very glad he finished second behind me. I'm very glad I won. First time winner at Hobo Racing.
Awesome job again, Austin. We saw as the tires began to wear, you covered it. It looked like it got a little bit treacherous out there. We saw some guys early on in the running have some troubles down on the bottom through 3 and 4. It looked like turns 1 and 2 weren't as bad as 3 and 4 were. That's the typical trouble spot when you come to Thompson. But again, congratulations, buddy. First win here on the Full Velocity Network. I don't think we've really had the pleasure of being able to interview you yet between here and our former DRTV, but so happy to finally be able to get to do this with you. And, as always, our tradition here, I'm going to hand the mic over to you. I know you probably got some fans, some friends, some teammates, family that are out there watching you. Anybody you want to give a shout-out to that helped you get here tonight, or just anybody that you want to give a shout-out to that may watch this back here when it's archived. The floor is all yours, my friend.
All right, thank you, Joe. Of course, thanks Steve and Dan. They got this league going back then, and it's still running today. I want to hopefully say hello to all of my other racing buddies I race in other leagues on the other days, over in the SRA group. And thank you guys for covering this race. And as always, thoughts and prayers to the friends and family of Teddy Christopher. That's still shocking for me. Shocking. For me, I wasn't really expecting it. Basically, no one was, and that's pretty much it. Not much of my family watches it, but they know I always race here when I always have the time off from school and work. So again, thank you very much, and I hope they see you guys soon if I continue to do good.
Alrighty, well there you go, guys. That's a very happy winner down here in Victory Lane. Austin LaPlante secures his first win here tonight on the Full Velocity Network. So once again, congratulations to Austin on a well done job here this evening to get up there, put himself in position to win this thing late in the race, and put himself out front at the right time. Led 11 laps here this evening. So once again, congratulations to all of our top 3 finishers: Austin LaPlante, that number 13 machine of Harry Cody Ann, and that number 14 of Dion Hinsky. Congratulations to both of those guys. Phil, I know these guys were a little discouraged and down when they were on the air last with us. I know they had more cautions than they were initially wanting to have, but I think as always we expect with the guys over at HOBO, their Whelen Modified Series put on one heck of a show tonight, and I think they definitely made up, and they should be proud of the product that they put on tonight. It was a lot of fun to watch. There was a lot of battles and a lot of action all over this racetrack this evening, and I'm sure as a guy who really grew up probably around Thompson. I know you've called hundreds of races. You've seen thousands of laps out there. You got to be proud of the show that was put on here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a fast track. I mean, they call it the Super Speedway of the Northeast, especially when you put these modifieds on. And, is it the real tour ships over to New Hampshire here? I mean, that's the best race of the weekend up there by no doubt. But these guys at HOBO Racing, they have roots to the Northeast. They pay tribute to the modifieds, and anytime I can call a race at Thompson, it just makes it even more that bittersweet. As you said, it's home base for me. It's where my bread's been buttered, where my career started, and just where I've seen the most legendary of guys come through the years. So it's always fun. It's always great to come home. And these guys, Todd, they put really one good race on here tonight. Be proud of all these guys. It was a good show. It's a short track. You expect carnage. You expect some cautions, but it's just all in the spirit of really good racing. And these guys certainly did it again here tonight.
Yeah, these guys certainly did it again here tonight. The Thompson Speedway. Always been a good racetrack. Always been a good racetrack here this evening, and broadcast prior, as I'm starting to get a little bit of Phil's whispering in my ear and messing me up towards my clothes here, and I'm laughing at him. But things have been going on. Great race by HOBO Racing here tonight, and again, thank you for allowing us to come over and cover your broadcast on the Full Velocity Network. Phil, you better take this one away from me.
I'm certainly we're gonna pay a visit back to these guys at HOBO in a couple of weeks with some cup car racing. Their HOBO Cup Series at the Texas Motor Speedway. So we get to do a little throwback short track racing in the modifieds tonight. We'll see HOBO again down the road in our schedule here in the next couple of weeks. But next up for us, guys, and we get a pretty busy freight in front of us, especially on Sunday evenings. This Sunday night, we move over to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, race number 2 for the FTF Jones Cup Series Chase for the Cup. We saw an awesome race here a few nights ago, at the Chicagoland Speedway. And as this group moves over to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway here this Sunday, it's going to be an awesome show. So tune in for all that. And of course, our full schedule and our broadcast rates, head over to our website, fullvelocitynetwork.com, and book your date now. We would love to showcase what you got going on. So until next time, for us here live on Full Velocity, for Joe Allen, wasn't, a banner night for you, my friend, but you got all the bugs all worked out, hot and heavy on the air, and did a great job as always. Todd alongside, where we just make a great tag team ignoring Joe. Phil Lacasse up here going to sign off for the night, and appreciate all you guys tuning in for the ultimate esport experience right here live on the Full Velocity Network. We'll see you next time.